And welcome to Pittsburgh Sports Now. I'm Mike Vukovcan, joined by former college greats, NFL All-Pro, and Super Bowl participants, Chuck Smith. And we're going to tell you why he's here. And he's got a lot going on with some individual players at the University of Pittsburgh. But we want to mention our Zoom interviews on Pittsburgh Sports Now are sponsored by Leon's Billiard, your number one source for game room needs in Western Pennsylvania. Mike Leone, 30-plus years up in Wexford. 724-934-5888. You need a pool table, shuffleboard, whatever. We'll check out Mike up in Wexford. And Mr. Smith, we appreciate you joining us here on Pittsburgh Sports Now. I've noticed your tweets the last month or so, a couple of weeks regarding, I saw some individual players from the University of Pittsburgh. Before we get into those players, talk to me about your, relationship with Pat Narduzzi and his coaching staff at Pitt.
Well, first and foremost, it's a great staff. And let me tell you one of the things as it relates to the art of pass rush. Coach Partridge is one of the best coaches as far as defensive line coaches in college football. And, he loves pass rush. And so I give a lot of credit to Pitt because what they've done, what I talk to a lot of schools, if I get a chance to talk to a lot of schools, but they've done it. They have created a pass rush culture. They created a culture where guys want to rush the passer there. Their coaches, he teaches pass rush. So it's kind of like in your program where I says, well, it's all about the culture. Well, to be pass rusher, you got to have people that let you pass rush, that teach pass rush. So, they've been super supportive. I've had a chance to train a couple of the guys before I even met them, but credit out to them, man. And these guys are training all around the country. College guys are training in gyms, lifting weights. They're running 40s. Anybody can lift. I get a lot of credit to those guys for coming and doing pass rush work because what's going to separate them, everybody's big, everybody's strong, everybody can run, but everybody can't put a spin move on them, chop, hump. And Pitt is going to continue to be a great pass rush school because their coach is a great coach, but he will let his guys use cutting-edge techniques. 95% of the teams are still behind right now where Pitt is when it comes to pass rush. Next couple years, watch out, guys. Pitt's going to have a great run coming up here of pass rushers moving forward.
We should mention your pass rushing company down in Georgia. And just a little for our viewers out there, you were second round. You were standout at the University of Tennessee, went on to the Atlanta Falcons, was a Pro Bowler, played in the Super Bowl. And so you've done it. Tell me about your company and what got you starting it, and how proud you are of where you've gotten.
Well, I've lived a pass rush life, and that's the best way I describe it. From the time I was a kid in 1983, when I watched Lawrence Taylor, one of the first guys pass rushers I ever saw, Mike, and LT was just a terror. And all throughout that time, at that time, I'm in the 8th grade. I love pass rush. My friends always say, man, why are you always talking about pass rush? As I moved through, up the ranks in my career, and even recently over the last 20 years since I've been doing it, hey, man, you got to stop the run. Okay, we stopped the run. Now what? So what happened was I retired out of Carolina in 2001. So I'm watching TV, right? Because I had already been training pass rushers. I had a knack for teaching people the art. I could always teach. It's a gift that I've had when it comes to teaching pass rush. So I'm watching this guy, Steve Clarkson, on Inside the NFL in 01. Then all of a sudden, I'm sitting there. I'm on injured reserve. I got a bad knee, just sitting there, Carolina, about to cut me. So I'm sitting there contemplating what I'm going to do when I come back home to North Atlanta and Sewanee. So all of a sudden, Steve Clarkson starts this new trend of outside consultants training NFL quarterbacks. So my wife said, babe, that's what you're doing. I said the same thing. Then something popped in my head. I always wanted to do it. The most important position is the quarterback. The second most important position is the person who gets the quarterback. Yep. So I started a company back then, started the trend. Being the first is always hard when it comes to particularly, charging money. So I started D-Line Inc., then I became Football 365, and now I create systems to improve the development movement of pass rushers and teaching drills to get production. So I started then. I started in 2002. Been rolling 18 years, man, and I'm thankful. You know, I trained Aaron Donald at the Senior Bowl. I trained Von Miller. I trained Dominic Ngwakwe. I teach coaches. I've trained everybody from Richard Seymour to OCM Minori. Highly blessed. Max Crosby right now. You know, Derek Brown, first round pick coming out. So, you know, just highly blessed, man, to be able to, you know, train. Also, I trained Bud Dupree. I trained Cam Hayward. I trained Stephon Tuitt. You know, highly blessed, man, to train those guys. And, you know, and I trained Tuitt in high school. I trained Tuitt and Cam in high school. Got to train, you know, Tuitt was in a combine program. So, you know, I trained Bud Dupree. I taught Bud Dupree the cross chop moves that you guys are seeing. And also, if you ever go look at Bud 2 years ago, Bud is 6 feet wide. Now Bud gets tighter. It all starts down here in North Atlanta, man, that place we call the Pass Rush Lab.
All right. You mentioned in the next few years, Pitt fans are going to really see with their defensive line. Last year, they were one of the top couple programs in college football as far as sacks on the quarterback, and that was led by their defensive line. And you're working with, or you've worked with, three of the guys. I'm going to bring them up individually, and just tell me what you see from each of these guys, what their strengths are, and what their future potential. Let's start with Jaylen Twyman, who, you know, some accounts, you know, if you, whatever stock you put into mock drafts, some have him being a first-round pick. Tell me what you see out of Jaylen.
Well, first I want to say, man, I'm not going to talk about their projections, where they should be, because it's not fair for me to say that when I'm less than 1% of what they're getting out of. I'm just a support system. And that'd be unfair for me to put an evaluation when I'm not at practice. You know what I mean? Those kind of things. I'm not coaching them daily. So I just say this, man. All those guys you just named, Twyman, Pat, John Morgan, and Deslin, listen, they all going to have great years. They're all absolutely guys that are developing, and they got a great coach that's open-minded, and that's big. And that he's a great coach. And let me tell you what makes a great coach, a great pass rush coach. He's willing to learn and be open-minded to other things. That's why you saw Twyman doing cross chops last year. You see guys working all kind of high-end moves that most colleges won't, man. So it's a credit to Pitt, but all those guys, man, have great potential. And I think, you know, Pitt's – and I think I'm going to tell you what else will help Pitt. When you see – listen, you got a lot of people, when they go to college, man, you know, they want to go to – a lot of these guys I deal with, they want to go where it's the pass rush culture. It is what it is. You guys are dealing with the people at Pitt, worry about the academics and all those different things. But they're guys, man, they want to get to the league. And so you're going to have young guys in that area. When all these guys start getting to the NFL, they're going to start coming to Pitt, because Pitt coaches, they're going to let them swipe. They're going to let them stutter. They letting them get it, man. And that's why those – and credit to those guys, them guys been putting in work. Twyman been here since last year. Pat just came in Deslin. I met John Morgan in the 10th grade. That's how I started working with these guys. John Morgan's dad, who I was a coach at one time, brought John here, and he was at DeMath in the 10th grade, and that's how I met all the guys. That's how all it started, with John Morgan coming in the 10th grade.
Is there, when you're talking about it, you know, you're dealing with Twyman, who's a defensive lineman, and then you're dealing with a bigger guy like Patrick Jones, and John Morgan is a, you know, quote, smaller type defensive end when you're looking at do you teach individual stuff depending on their size and weight, or is it one, you know, a technique fits all? How is it up to the each individual? How do you prepare your workouts for them?
Man, I teach them what they want to learn. Anything they want to learn, any move they want to use, there is no limit to it. It doesn't matter how big you are. Don't matter how short you are. Don't matter if you got short arms or long arms. That is a myth. There's a guy that works on the field, the same field as Pitt, that if people at Pitt don't understand that myth, Aaron Donald does moves that they only said long guys can do. So what I teach is guys a signature move. I don't care who you go against. We using that move. Doesn't change, man. So I don't look at body type. If you want to be a guy who uses the side scissor, don't matter if you're tall, you short. If you want to be a bull rusher, don't matter your height. So what happens is it's like a pitcher. You got 3 pitches that in your arsenal. So if you look at now, you look at let's use Jaylen Twyman. Twyman uses a side scissors. He swipes his hands. He uses a cross chop, just like Aaron Donald does. Guy right across the way or in the same building. Then he also uses power. So those moves can be done by Pat Jones also. Doesn't matter. Guys, they want to use the cross chop, he can spin. Guys have different tools. So whatever you want to learn, man, it's really, I have a menu. When guys come in, I got a menu of 21 pass rush drills. They ask me, they tell me what they want to learn, and it's my job to teach them. So when we go into games, I've taught my guys, we want to attack, we're not going to react. So when I'm sitting there talking to Pat Jones, Pat, you develop your signature pass rush move. Guess what? The great ones do. Reggie White has one. He has the rip pump, right? You got T.J. Watt, uses the side scissors, uses the ghost where he dips. But think about it like this. He does the same move over and over. So I teach my guys, I don't care whether you're big or you're small, don't matter. You use your move and you attack them with the move, because all the great ones, you can think of their move. You can think of Dwight Freeney spinning. I can think of Kevin Green as a Steeler doing the long arm with the bull. Guys have specialty moves, and we doing them injustice if we start handicapping guys, whether he's tall or short, doesn't matter. Just learn the move and attack with that move, and you'll have a lot of success.
Do you see, this last question before I bring up one other topic here? There's a lot of comparisons up here, and you know, I know a lot of times comparisons aren't fair, but because of the uniform, university, all the stuff like that, a lot of people see it somewhat, and that's a unfair comparison, but Jaylen Twyman with Aaron Donald as far as what he does on the field and how disruptive he is. Do you see any of Donald's game in Jaylen?
Yeah, he has, you know, Jaylen's mastered the cross chop, which is a move he can take to the NFL, and he'll have success because he understands how to do it. He's a hard worker like Aaron Donald, and, you know, Jaylen's upside is through the ceiling, you know. He has that same body type. He has the same attitude. I mean, they're both dogs. And I just think the sky's the limit. But I will say, and you did say some things at the beginning. I understand you were saying it's not a fair comparison. But Jaylen Twyman is going to be a great NFL player. But here's my thing. There's some NFL players you can compare guys to, right? There are some. And I totally get it. This is actually what I told Aaron Donald last year. And this is me. This is just coming from me. I told AD, I had text AD when everybody's making this Ed Oliver comparison. And Ed is a good player right now in Buffalo. Aaron Donald was the most dominant player in college football almost from day one. Yep. Didn't get recognized the first couple years. He won every award in college football. He's a 5-time first team or 6-time All-Pro, Pro Bowl, 2-time Defensive Player of the Year. No one in the history of the games beginning in the NFL should be compared to Aaron Donald. It's not even, you can't even say we know, preface it. The NFL guys can't say that. So no one in college, it should be never, ever in the history of the game. Only thing that anybody from Ed Oliver can compare to Aaron Donald is they're the same height. Aaron's book of work is so beyond what you can dream. It's not fair to the best NFL player. It's not fair to Warren Sapp right now. It's not fair to John Randall. You can't compare Aaron Donald to the great Hall of Famers right now. When you look at his 6-year book of work, he's the fastest NFL Hall of Famer of all time. His numbers are better than half the guys in the NFL. So it's not a Jaylen Twyman thing. It's a historical thing when you watch that Pitt maybe produced the second greatest defensive lineman of all time. Reggie White is number 1. Everybody else got to get in line, though.
Great. Awesome point there, Chuck. Last thing is, unfortunately, a little bit of a unfortunate coincidence today. We have you on, which we're glad of, but also, you know, we have to bring up the fact, the passing of former Pitt great head coach John Majors. And he's, for the fans out there that didn't know, he recruited you to Tennessee.
Yeah.
Tell me about your memories of Coach Majors.
Well, I always remember Coach Majors coming to the house, and you know, Tennessee was kind of going through some challenges at the time defensively. So so I was a signee. I was in the 1988 class of Tennessee. I think we brought in 26 guys. I was part of the signing group. But back then, it was like the Proposition 48, no pass, no play thing had just kind of become big. And I was a Prop 48. You know, I was a victim of Proposition. Well, I wasn't a victim. I did it to myself. But I was you know, Prop 48 got me, so I couldn't go to Tennessee. And so I went to Northeast Oklahoma. They basically, you know, placed me out there and with the opportunity to come back. So Coach Majors made a promise to me and my family, Chuck, if you go out there and do what you're supposed to do, get the grades, you're a Vol, you're a VFL, you're a Vol for life, you know, you'll have a chance to come back and we'll, you know, I promise you. So Coach Majors always kept up with me. I talked to him, he called, hey, what Jack, what you doing, Jack? And so, you know, when I graduated from Northeast Oklahoma, I got a chance to re-sign with Tennessee, man. Coach Majors was good on his word. And I came back and I was blessed. And I'll just tell you this, man, dude was a tough coach. I mean, I'm talking about hardcore, every second, old school, standing at, you know, those they had the stairs. And he'd be up there, check, with a bullhorn, check. You know, he's a credit to Tennessee as well as Pitt. I mean, I don't think he's ever been given enough credit. And it's sad when people have to pass when you look at his book of work and like, wow, I mean, this guy is not just one of the best coaches. He's one of the greatest players in college football history. And he's a college football Hall of Famer for a reason.
All right, Chuck, we appreciate your time very much. Great insight on the Pitt players, and maybe we'll check in with you toward the end of the season and get an update on what you're seeing. And we appreciate your time here on Pittsburgh Sports Now.
Well, we got one more big day tomorrow. We're going to get after it, and I can't wait. I'm telling you, Pitt, I can't wait. I'm coming to a game. I'm going to be sitting in the stands, and I'm going to sit back with my popcorn and watch these dudes tear quarterbacks up. I'm telling you, man, I know what they look like. Credit to Pitt, credit to these guys that are paying their own money. They're paying. Ain't nothing free now. Yeah. They paying. And so they're going to be good, and I'm excited to watch what they do. And credit out to Coach Partridge as a D-line coach. Great guy, great unit. Appreciate your time.
All right, Chuck Smith, former Tennessee Volunteer great, Atlanta Falcons, and now the Chuck Smith Pass Rushing Company down in Georgia. We appreciate your time here on Pittsburgh Sports Now, and this interview was sponsored by Leon's Billiard up in Wexford.